In this lecture, we'll take a look at what are the building blocks of asp.NET Core applications. So here we have the asp.NET Core application stack. From the bottom, if you'll see, we have the operating system, and above that we have web server, which is responsible for accepting network requests. Above that we have the .NET runtime, which is a thin layer, and its responsibility is to load .NET libraries, locate entry point into the application, and execute it when web server sends it the request. Now above that you will see we have the .NET libraries. Now the .NET libraries basically provides abstraction, data structure, co-implementation of things like collections, file and network input-output. Above that we have third-party libraries which we use to do the obvious things like reading a JSON, processing some Excel file, generating PDF. So for all these things we have libraries provided by third-party vendors. And then comes the application code, which is the code that you have written. If you'll closely observe, this has been bifurcated into two divisions. The .NET runtime, web server and operating system comprises of the runtime environment, and the .NET libraries, third-party libraries and application code comprises of the code block. Now with .NET Core, just like we include third-party libraries, we'll also be including Microsoft .NET libraries. So it's not like with the earlier versions the .NET libraries were available, but with .NET Core we will have to include them, just like we include third-party libraries in our application. So that's a bit of a difference over here in asp.NET Core MVC. Now if we compare asp.NET Core and earlier versions of asp.NET, then you'll find that the .NET runtime was earlier available only for Windows using the .NET framework. Now with the .NET Core framework, which is a lightweight, fast and modular version of .NET framework, we have the option of running our asp.NET Core MVC applications using this .NET Core framework. Now because of this, we also have the option of running our code on other operating systems like Mac and Linux. For Mac and Linux, we have Microsoft's Kestrel web server, which can be used to run asp.NET Core MVC applications on a Mac operating system, and using a Docker container we can also do the same on Linux operating system. Now with the advent of .NET Core Framework 3.0, the .NET Core applications that will be written on Framework 3.0 will only be running using the .NET Core Framework. For now, .NET Core Framework 2.2, which is being used currently, can run on both .NET Framework as well as on .NET Core Framework. So in the next lecture, we'll take a look at how we can create a sample application using asp.NET Core MVC.